Hello, you guys. Welcome back to my channel. So going into 2026, I had so many anticipated new release reads. Like way too many to fit into one video. What I'm going to be doing in this reading vlog is knocking off a few of them. So I have 3 picked out. 2 are from the library, so they're going to be definite reads. And then the last one is kind of up in the air. So first, I have Molka by Monica Kim. All I know about this is that it's about secret, like spy camera situation. Molka is the Korean word for spy cam. That's really all I know. I think it's supposed to be about a woman getting revenge because she was a victim in a spy cam situation. So that's going to be book number 1. Next book is The Ending Writes Itself by Evelyn Clarke, which is a pseudonym for Kat Clarke and V.E. Schwab. This is about a group of authors who get invited to this estate. They're being offered a book deal and I think a large sum of money if they can write the last chapter for this famous author's book, because this famous author has recently passed away. They get to this estate. I think it's an island. And then I don't know if one person gets murdered or they start getting picked off, but there's something like that. So murder mystery, super excited for. Then the last book that I have is Yesteryear by Caro Burke. This is about a tradwife influencer who gets transported back to 1855. She just wakes up one morning. She's living in 1855 and she has to try and deal with it. And figure out how to get back, I guess. I've been seeing so many people talk about this and I'm having FOMO, so I need to read this ASAP. But I also have The Caretaker by Marcus Cleaver, which I'm also dying to read. So could read that one too. We'll see how I feel when I get to my 3rd book. I am super excited for all these reads, so let's get into the first book. I just got to the 50% mark in Molka and I wanted to update on what I'm thinking. Up to this point, every chapter we are jumping back and forth between 2 POVs. This takes place in the same timeline, but we're getting the perspectives of 2 different characters. So the first character is Jun Young, who is a man who works in an apartment building as an IT specialist. So he works in the basement and then anybody that has any problems contacts him basically and he fixes their computers. Right in the first chapter, we see him on his computer in the morning before his shift starts and he's monitoring the 40 or so cameras that he has secretly placed around his office building, including in the women's bathroom. So yeah, he is disgusting. That is incredibly disturbing and it's very unsettling reading from his perspective. Then the other perspective that we're getting is from a woman named Daye. I don't know how to pronounce it, guys. That's how I've been pronouncing it the whole time. I am unsure and I can't even check the pronunciation on Spotify because it's one of those audiobooks that is not included in premium. So I couldn't even check on my pronunciation there. But we've been seeing her being wined and dined by this new boyfriend that she has who is, I guess, like a millionaire, billionaire vibe. He is the CEO of a big music entertainment company in South Korea. So he has money and our FMC does not. She does not come from money. When we see the neighborhood that she lives in, it's giving like rundown. So we're seeing their dynamic and we start to question things because it's like, okay, this seems too good to be true. There's gotta be something wrong here, right? And we also come to learn that our FMC works in Jun Young's building. So they work for the same company and he starts to get a little bit of an obsession with her. It is getting pretty juicy where I am right now. And I will say I am hooked. The chapters in this book are relatively short. I feel like I'm flying through them and I actually don't want to put the book down. It's really disturbing and there's some obviously disturbing topics in it. This is a spy cam book, so, you know, a lot of non-consensual stuff going on in here, which is horrific. And Monika Kim does a fantastic job of really portraying how horrific these types of situations are and how the government does not take situations like this seriously enough, which leaves the victims of these crimes feeling extremely isolated. I think it is a really important topic that she's talking about. In the beginning, there's a little blurb from Monika Kim, and she's explaining how molka spy cams are a huge problem in Korea and have been for a while. She also mentions that it happens elsewhere in the world, but she speaks specifically about the Burning Sun scandal that happened in Korea in 2019, which I had never heard about, but it essentially was a molka scandal a lot of celebrities were found to be involved in. And when this situation finally got resolved, the longest prison term that was given as a sentence was 18 months, which is heartbreaking and nauseating. So I really appreciated that in the beginning, and I'm just really liking the awareness that this book is bringing to this type of crime. I've never read anything that has involved a spy cam in any sense, I don't think. So I'm really enjoying it. Monika Kim is not talking about it lightly. She is not tiptoeing around anything. She is definitely going all speed ahead describing these non-consensual exploitative crimes. I'm really liking the POVs switching back and forth, and they're already connected partially because we know that Jun-young and Da-ye work together, but we're getting more into it now, and I think they're going to be interacting a lot more. We haven't seen them interacting very much up until this point. People are coming to realizations, and I'm excited to see where the story goes next. I will probably just update you guys when I'm done now. I'm hoping to finish this very soon because it is currently Friday and this book is due on Sunday. So I have read like half of it in 2 days though. I'm flying through. I'll be back with final thoughts. Finished Molka 2 days ago. I'm finally ready to give final thoughts. So I checked the synopsis of the book to see what was included in it because I didn't want to spoil anything. So our FMC, I was telling you about this hot rich boyfriend that she has. We find out that Da-ye and her rich hot boyfriend, Hyuk-jun, have been caught on a spy cam. So there is footage of them out there doing the dirty on the internet. Hyuk-jun has an image to uphold, so he tells Da-ye that he is fleeing to New York and he's gonna lay low there. And she's like, oh my god, okay, can I come with you? And he's like, no, like, he leaves. She starts trying to get in touch with him, and he's ignoring all of her calls and texts. So we watch Daye go on this downward spiral. She's like, why is he not answering me? What the hell is happening? And she's having to deal with this molka scandal, like, on her own. She honestly didn't even seem that phased by the molka thing, to be honest. She was more concerned that he was, like, leaving her high and dry and ghosting her, essentially. So things start getting very bad. And all the while, Jun Young, the guy with all the spy cams set up in his office building, his obsession with Daye is just getting worse and worse as well. So the book descends into chaos, essentially. And I loved it. I loved it. This was maybe 4.5 stars. I loved the craziness, how unhinged everybody was being. If you like a story of female rage and female revenge, I think you would like this. That part of this I thought was so much fun. However, this book is also extremely infuriating. You are hearing people like Jun Young and Hyuk Jun be so outwardly and unapologetically misogynistic. You just want to put your hand through the page and choke them. But, you know, the author's trying to get across a point. Like, people like this do unfortunately exist, and it's important to bring awareness to that. Like, this molka epidemic in Korea, that's what Monica Kim is trying to bring awareness to. These women are coming forward and saying, hey, somebody has videos, pictures of me that were non-consensual, and they go to the authorities or people in power about things like this, and they're essentially met with the response of, well, it's not hurting you, so what's the issue? Boys will be boys. I thought it was overall so great and important. Like, it was a fun way to get across an important message, and I loved it. I clearly need to read The Eyes Are the Best Part now as well. That is also by Monica Kim, and I've heard amazing things. So anyways, super, super happy that the first book in this video is already 4 stars, at least. You guys will hear from me again once I am into the ending rights itself. I am currently 120 pages into the ending rights itself, and I have thoughts. I am really liking this so far. I'm through part 1 of this book. In part 1, we got the perspectives of each of the different authors that are going to this island. Skelbray Island is what it's called. There are 6 authors, which honestly I don't find hard to keep track of them because they all write different genres. We have a thriller writer, a debut writer, somebody that writes YA, a romance writer, a horror writer, and a sci-fi writer. So it's very easy to keep track of who they are based on that. As you're getting into it, you can let yourself get familiarized with their names. It's really easy to keep track of them based on what genre they write. I wasn't expecting to get POVs from all of them right off the bat, so it was really cool seeing them get to the island and then their initial thoughts as they're entering this castle that Arthur Fletch owns. They all enter the castle, and Arthur's publicist comes down and editor, and they announce, hey guys, Arthur is dead, and we want you guys to try and write the last 10,000 words of his book. Whoever does the best job is gonna get $1 million, and they're also gonna get a $1 million publishing deal. So that's all in the synopsis. So like, I knew all that was gonna happen. Now, going into part 2, it seems like we're going to be getting multiple chapters from one perspective. So I'm in Sienna's perspective right now. She's one of the thriller writers, and there's some weird things that have been happening around the house right off the bat. They've been there for one night, and Sienna's trying to like suss out the vibe. I really like it. I really like Sienna. There's a few characters that I really like. I do think, you know, some of them are supposed to be unlikable, but I definitely really like a few of them, which I feel like is important when you're reading a book. I really like the writing in this, and I really, really like reading about authors. And the fact that 2 authors co-wrote this book I'm like, oh my God, it's just authors writing about authors, writing about authors, writing for authors. I just love it. It's so much fun. Like, it's so much fun. I have a feeling something bad is going to happen very soon. So I'm anticipating that. I'm excited to see what it is because as of right now, I'm actually not sure. I will update you guys again a little bit later. I'm so happy I'm liking this and I'm so excited to keep reading. Yesterday, I finished The Ending Writes Itself, and kind of bad news. So I was loving the first like half of this. I thought it was so interesting. Okay, I feel like this is slipping. It is. This is my first time using eye patches, I think. Where are they sliding? Feels good though. Okay, yeah. I was really loving the first like half of this. It's very Agatha Christie-esque. All the writers get to the island. They go their separate ways. Pam can see herself in the TV. And then murder happens, you know? It was a really cool setup and there was more mystery aspects to it than just like, who's the murderer? There was more to it. Like you have the Arthur Fletch of it all, this famous writer, and you're like, okay, wait, is he actually dead? I know they're telling us he's dead, but is he actually? And then his house is also like crazy. Like there's secret passages and like all this stuff. It was just really, really cool. And then you're getting all these different authors' perspectives as well. And I was really liking it. But the ending just did not stick the landing. Like I found it very underwhelming and kind of predictable. And then there's an epilogue at the end and it's kind of like there has to be a second book. I don't know, it was so open-ended and I'm kind of like, is this gonna be a standalone? I don't know. Anyways, kind of pissed me off. So I think I'm gonna give this like 3.5 because I liked the writing a lot, the setup, and then up to like 50 or 60%, I was really enjoying it. Just found the conclusion of it all a little underwhelming. That is book number 2 done. I'm actually flying through these. Also, another thing about this is I liked the writing and it was very addicting to read. Like, it was so easy to fly through. The chapters were relatively short and the mystery aspects in the beginning were keeping me going for sure. But yeah, so I'm done 2 books. I still haven't decided what I'm gonna read. I had another new release come through from the library. This ending writes itself. No, this podcast might save your life. This story might save your life. Okay, you got there. And it's about these 2 people that have a true crime podcast. They tell stories about people that have survived crazy incidences, I think. Maybe it's not just true crime, just crazy stuff. And then one of the podcast hosts and her husband go missing. So that sounds really interesting, but I've heard that the audiobook is really good and I got the physical book from the library. So maybe I'll hold out on that and listen to the audiobook. I really want to read Yesteryear, so that might be what I get into. I'm gonna go eat some coffee. Nope. I'm gonna go drink some coffee, eat some breakfast, and then we will decide. I have cleaned up my coffee mishap. I was planning on cleaning the floors today anyways, so whatever. I just started a little bit earlier, but I broke one of my mugs from Indigo. So sounds like an excuse to go to Indigo and buy a new mug to me. I have made a second coffee, an iced one. Also my first coffee, full to the brim. So this technically is only my first coffee. So super productive morning so far. And now I am actually going to jump into Yesteryear. I finally decided. I'm just having FOMO like crazy. I need to read this. So I think I'm gonna jump into it. I'm so excited for this. I'm nervous that my expectations are too high now, but I've been hearing people rave about this. I just know this is going to be winning at least one award in the Goodreads Choice Awards. This is a debut, so it could win debut novel. I'm so excited. Let's finally get into Yesteryear. Chapter 1, we start off, we see Natalie in her beautiful barn mansion with her husband and her 6 kids and all of her other employees. She has hired people to help her take care of her kids, take care of the house, like set up her cameras, all of that good stuff. And we get to see into her brain how she thinks of these people, how she thinks of herself and her followers on Instagram as well. Then she wakes up in 1855. She is like, what the hell is going on? Like, is this a joke? We're seeing that situation take an emotional toll on her every single day. And yeah, I'm wondering where it's going to go. I'm finding those chapters a little bit boring. I'm halfway through and I still feel like that plot line hasn't really gone anywhere yet. So I'm kind of just wanting more from that. Alternatively, we are also getting flashback chapters. So we're seeing her before she married her husband, then kind of like as they got married, as they started having kids, chronologically, we're seeing that sequence of events. And I do find that very interesting. I'm finding it very interesting learning about how she was raised, the kind of family dynamics she grew up surrounded by, and the type of relationships she still has with her mom and her sister. Natalie's not supposed to be a very likable character, I don't think, but I am empathizing with her. Like, I feel bad for her, the girl. So I'm liking those flashback chapters as well, but I'm just wondering now how all of this is going to tie together. And really, there's only one way to find out. I'm going to keep reading tonight, hopefully get a little bit further in. I'm hoping to finish this within the next couple days. Hopefully I will be back with a good rating. I finished Yesteryear this morning. And for my rating, I think I'm settling on a 3.5. I thought that this story started out so strong. I loved the little glimpse we got at the beginning showing what Natalie's life was like living as an influencer. And then after that, once she wakes up and she's like, it's 1855. I loved trying to figure that out, what was going on there. And then the flashback chapters also, seeing how Natalie was before she met Caleb, her husband, and then seeing basically the series of events that led her to the place that she is now and the person that she is. There's not really any likable characters in this. A few of Natalie's kids, you're like, okay, like you, feel bad for you. Other than that, it's just really the plot that's keeping you going. You're like, this is insane. It's very satire, like Natalie being a tradwife influencer. It is just so over the top, like her personality and the way that she acts. It's insane and unhinged. But I really liked those aspects of the story in the beginning. The ending to me was a little bit unsatisfying. There were a few twists at the end. I thought that they were cool. I was definitely gagged, but didn't love how it wrapped up. I found it a bit underwhelming. I was expecting it to be like super psychological, and it just didn't satisfy me in that sense. However, I really liked Caro Claire Burke's writing. I thought it was great. I was reading through reviews after, and I know some people were not liking her writing style, but if you like the really blunt writing style, I think you're going to like this. That's also just Natalie's character. Like, she's just blunt and uncensored. 3.5 is not a bad rating. I still had a fun time, and I'm really glad that I got to read this finally. This was a super fun video. Molka was a hit. Amazing. What did I give it? 4 stars. It was definitely 4.5. That was probably my favorite one that I read in this video. Then we read The Ending Writes Itself. Didn't love. Don't think I would recommend that one. I think that's going to be like a 3 or a 2.75. And then Yesteryear, 3.5. Would definitely recommend. Didn't live up to the super incredibly high expectations I had set for it. But that also happened because the book's being talked about so much. Like, everyone and their mother is talking about it and reading it. 3.5 is still good. I still had a fun time. I feel like this was a pretty successful reading vlog. I'm so happy I finally got to these books. Look out for my next video, maybe the one after that. I'm going to be reading new release sapphic books for Pride Month. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.